Hey, so welcome to third episode of BDR Best Practices. It is my favorite time on the fortnight when Jimmy and I get to spend an hour alone and talk about something topical. And we have gone for something as topical as possible this time round. Something that I don't think anybody is really used to, and that we've managed to gather a bit of insight on within the team. And that's onboarding remotely. I think there's any companies that are expanding and hiring right now, they're going to have to be doing their onboarding at least partially remotely. So we've come up with some tips to suggest how best to hit the ground running in your new role if you're sat in your bedroom or sat in your living room. So here we go. Over to you, Jimmy.
Thanks, Scott. So on the first day of work, right, you usually get a tour of the office. You get to meet your colleagues. You probably do like some kind of game where you share a fun fact. I personally hate those because I never have good fun facts. But anyways, you can't really do that anymore, right, in terms of that physical interaction. But it's still important that you're meeting your colleagues. Here at Reach Desk, we do coffee chats. It's like 15 minutes. You just throw time on, your colleague's calendar, and you just kind of shoot the breeze. It's important that you get to know their role, you get to know them personally, and you learn about the company culture. The nature of business, you're going to need a favor eventually. Having that kind of understanding that you already know the person makes it so much easier to ask for help. And no good business gets by without people helping one another. So it's important to, again, have that relationship so you can ask for help.
Definitely. And I think it's important to try and get familiar with different departments. So hit up customer success, hit up finance, hit up HR, and just kind of get to know the wider team. I think that's really important as well, and kind of broaden your horizons. So the second point was kind of on educating yourself. So naturally, you're going to have all the kind of official onboarding documents and all the kind of training you're going to have to do internally. I think it's really important to try and read around certain subjects that are going to just round your skill set and just make you a better person in general and better in your role as well. So a few books on the screen that Jimmy and I have either read or have committed to reading. I think Jimmy's at page 1 of Chop Wood, Carry Water. But it's really important to try and read around these. And there's some really, really insightful moments in the books that we've read there that are just kind of blow your mind as to an approach you can take within business and within social life, which is important. And then beyond that, obviously LinkedIn content I think is invaluable. Follow a couple thought leaders. Get on LinkedIn Learning. There's loads of video content on LinkedIn Learning around sales tactics, around emotional intelligence, productivity, human behavior, all stuff that is just invaluable to know and to kind of implement in into your daily approach, which I think is important. And not to mention shadowing calls. Get on some demos, get on some cold calls, and just kind of shadow in on people. Be the fly on the wall and really pick up some tips.
Yeah, I know for me personally, that's kind of, my onboarding process. That's how I learned, was just shadowing people and kind of throwing myself into the deep end a little bit.
Definitely.
So, make sure that your home office is in place, right? We spend sometimes as many as 10, 11, 12 hours a day working. You want to be comfortable. As you can see from the photos, the top image is Scott's home office. He has an extra monitor, which I don't have. I will be contacting I'll be speaking to the right people after this.
I can put you in touch.
But yeah, no, it's important that you're comfortable and you have a good setup. Additionally, right, when you start that new job, you might update your LinkedIn. You'll have old colleagues reaching out. You'll have friends reaching out. It's important that when this is going on, you keep the business in mind. People like doing business with people they like and they know. Tap into your own network. We joke here at Reach Desk, almost everyone immediately hits their ramp goal because their first couple opportunities they create are with their personal network. It's important to do that. And again, people are so open to taking a chat and taking a meeting, especially if you already know them. The final point, make sure you set recurring meetings with kind of like your manager who's ever running the onboarding. We'll get into this a little bit later, but it's important to have that structure so you can give feedback. And we'll get into more of that in a second here.
Definitely. When was the last time you did a 12-hour workday, Jimmy, just seeing as you threw that out there?
Earlier this week, man. You can see I got these bags under my eyes. I'm out here grinding.
You could have fooled me, mate. You could have fooled me. So anyways, I think one thing I found personally pretty difficult was during lockdown, finding my flow and staying productive and on task for a whole working day. In all honesty, it was difficult without having that office environment, without seeing my teammates putting meetings up on the board and acting as a motivator. So you've got to try and put things in place to kind of force this structure into this kind of focus on your day. So planning your day at the start to know what you're going to be doing each hour and sticking to that really regimentedly. Turning off notifications, I actually leave my phone completely out of the room because I know that I'm too indisciplined to not check my notifications if it's there. And finding some music. I personally can't listen to music with lyrics in it, so otherwise I'm distracted from my emails. So find yourself a neat playlist that's just going to keep you in the flow state and just in the zone.
So are you listening to like Mozart and the classical music?
I listen to a bit of classical, a bit of drum and bass, anything in between, really.
All right. Alex Ollie, our co-founder, he created a Spotify playlist for like a working playlist. It's got some bangers on there. I encourage you to check it out.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
And so finally, I touched on it before, right? Make sure you have that reoccurring meeting set up so you can share your thoughts. All great companies, right? They have a great product. They have great customer support, but they also have great onboarding. And the only way that onboarding is going to be great is if it continues to improve. Over communicate with your team. Make sure you let them know what works, what didn't work. We joke, like you always want to leave the onboarding, the next onboarding is going to be the best onboarding, right? It should always be better, and make sure that the person coming behind you has it a little easier than you did. We use 15.5, right? That's a way that you can kind of give your feedback. It's a great tool that you could see kind of a picture there, but it helps communicate. There's a lot of other tools out there. Again, communicate.
Other tools are available. This isn't a shameless plug that we're being paid for, but it's a really nice tool. And there's a feature in there like high fives, where you can just give a shout out to your teammates for all the small wins. And it's a nice way to kind of celebrate the wins and stay in touch as like a community. Jimmy's always top of the leaderboard, which is why he wanted to bring this up.
I was going to ask you, have you taken a look at that leaderboard lately?
I'll give you a high five after this, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah,
anyway, we'll wrap it up there. But, thanks for watching another episode if you watched to the end. Keep the suggestions coming of topics you'd like to see. But yeah, until then, he's Jimmy and I'm Scott. Take it easy.
Damn, you're doing the I like it. Until next time.
That's funny.